think they let El Chapo get out of his penitentiary to go see about his knee? No.
Jay-Z is sharing a new statement after the civil case accusing him and Sean Diddy Combs of raping a teenager was dismissed.
Big breaking news tonight. For the first time in the history of New York City, a sitting mayor has been indicted for crimes.
A former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs speaking out in the new interview with new allegations about wild parties and drug use.
They are going to be watching basically for hours on end in front of.
He claims he's being targeted because he's a black man and that the charges are racially motivated. New leaked audio has surfaced, allegedly capturing a conversation between Diddy, Jay-Z, and Diddy's son. And what Diddy says in it is truly shocking. How did Diddy know he would be sent to the hospital? And what role did he play in Jay-Z's case getting dismissed?
I wasn't gonna get at you from the inside.
He has reached out to a witness, an alleged participant in multiple freak-offs.
Then why Oprah staying quiet? Why Ellen moving to another country?
And he's asking people to intimidate witnesses or pay people off.
Don't be shocked if nobody show up to testify. Don't contact me anymore, Puff. I already got that Houston lawyer breathing down my neck over that 13-year-old girl. If you don't want things to get worse for you, then you need to start answering my son's phone call.
The defendant's goal is to blackmail victims and witnesses either into silence or providing testimony helpful to his defense.
New York is having a problem with leaks in this Diddy case, with alleged video of the court hearings already on the internet and leaked phone calls where he's calling witnesses. Things are getting out of control and you won't believe what he says on these calls. Recently, the DA released that Diddy was contacting witnesses from jail and they were saying this is the reason that he shouldn't get bail. He was using other inmates' phone calls to three-way people who would then call the witnesses, and that's who he spoke to over the phone. Also, in a weird turn of events, the DA who brought these charges against Diddy is suddenly resigning from his position during the biggest case of his career, and that is strange. So let's break down this insane phone call that we found online. Legal disclaimer, people, I'm just a guy that reacts to stuff I find on the internet. So as of right now, everything is rumors, gossip, or opinions of others. Everything in this video.
Weeks before it happened, Diddy told his son he had one last trick up his sleeve to get out of jail. Then, on February 2nd, he was suddenly taken out of jail in the middle of the night for an MRI at a Brooklyn hospital. Just 1 week later, the charges against Jay-Z were dropped. So what really happened during that hospital visit? And who did? Did he meet that could have led to Jay-Z's case being dismissed?
They let El Chapo get out of his penitentiary to go see about his knee? No. He had to dig an underground tunnel and leave on a motorcycle to get out of there. So why is Diddy getting raced out in the cover of darkness, we keep hearing? Why does he get the cover of darkness? Why does he get taken out because he needs an aspirin? Help me, Dr. Hendricks.
Well, I'll tell you, each inmate gets a physical within 14 days of their arrival at any facility. And I'm sure, based on reports of him having several knee surgeries throughout the years after being a marathoner back in 2003. So this may have been in the works in terms of getting him out for an MRI, because I know that they don't have that equipment at the institution. And I'll just tell you this, they probably had set this appointment up months, maybe weeks ago, and they set it up for the evening.
To leave at 1 a.m. in the cover of darkness? Okay, you think that's what they set up, Hendricks? Look, I know you're being loyal to MDC, but can we get real? Leaving MDC because your knee hurts? Have you seen that POC?
Jay-Z is sharing a new statement after the civil case accusing him and Sean Diddy Combs of raping a teenager was dismissed. The woman who filed the lawsuit back in October accusing Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and Combs of raping her after an awards show in 2000 when she was 13 years old. Both Carter and Combs have denied any wrongdoing. According to a new court filing, the case was dismissed yesterday after the accuser's withdrawal. In a new statement shared through Rock Nation, Jay-Z wrote that the claim hurt his family and loved ones, writing, quote, "I would not wish this experience on anyone," adding, "The frivolous, fictitious, and appalling allegations have been dismissed. This civil suit was without merit and never going."
Did Diddy pressure the victim to drop the case against both himself and Jay-Z? If so, who gave him permission to leave? How is someone with Diddy's reputation allowed? To walk out in the middle of the night, especially when prosecutors are already aware he's been trying to contact witnesses. Phone records show Diddy has been reaching out to victims and threatening them.
Diddy's prison phone call just leaked and it was posted by Social Details. This is allegedly a call that he had, and there's a lot of talk, a lot of code words in there, so we're gonna listen to it together. Check it out.
Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over.
Now, this alleged leaked call from Diddy in prison was talking about getting rid of pizza boxes. Now, if you know your stuff and you're privy, you know exactly what pizza stands for, and that's probably what they're talking about and referring to on this alleged leaked call. Pizza, for those who don't know, I'm gonna make it very clean. It has to do with children and selling.
Make sure you recycle the plastic like you talked about.
Now, in this alleged phone call, he starts talking about someone named Jay. People are speculating that maybe Jay-Z, but there's no confirmation. At the same time, he talks about recycling plastic. I don't know what that could mean. If you guys have any idea, comment and let me know.
Everybody out there quiet as monster. Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh.
I mean, it seems by the call that he's looking for help. He's saying that a lot of people are quiet, I guess people that are on his side, and that he's gonna have the last laugh at the end.
Man, just do what I told you to do, and don't forget about the list.
And then he goes on to say, don't forget about the list. And we don't know what that list is or what that implies, but this is pretty crazy. Do I think this is legitimate? There is no confirmation yet if this is legitimate or not, but this is the alleged leak call.
This was supposed to be an open and shut case. Jay-Z's lawyers were caught on tape attempting to bribe witnesses to lie. They even impersonated FBI agents and flashed fake badges, which is a federal offense. Yet despite all of this being recorded, the case against Jay-Z was dismissed. So who's really pulling the strings? And could Diddy's connection to the New York mayor have played a role in making this all disappear?
Tells this morning in the sex trafficking case against Sean Diddy Combs, prosecutors now claiming that from behind bars, Combs has been trying to reach out to victims and possible witnesses. And ABC's Phil Lipoff is here now with this story. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Gio. Diddy's lawyers trying for a third time to get him out on bail, but this time, the prosecution telling the judge about attempts they say the rap mogul made from behind bars to influence everyone from potential jury to alleged victims. This morning, prosecutors leveling new accusations against Sean Diddy Combs, saying he poses a serious risk of danger even from behind bars as he awaits trial. In a court filing late Friday, prosecutors detailing the steps they say Combs is taking while locked up to reach out to prospective witnesses and influence public opinion to affect potential jurors.
The accusations within the prosecution's motion to deny bail are very serious and will be considered very heavily by the judge, because the judge is going to want to ensure that he is not influencing witnesses and or contacting anyone to influence a trial in any way.
Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges of racketeering, transportation to engage in prostitution, and sex trafficking. He denies any wrongdoing. The government now asking a judge not to grant Combs' third request for bail, in which the music mogul offers a $50 million bail package citing new evidence and changed circumstances.
Flip Diddy recently lost a $100 million lawsuit, right around the same time Mayor Adams was indicted. How is it that both Diddy and the mayor, who are allegedly close friends, ended up facing legal trouble at the same time? Is this really just a coincidence? Despite knowing Diddy was under investigation, Mayor Adams still handed him the key to the city. Was this a move to help clean up Diddy's public image?
How did he get the key to the city? That's crazy to me. If he was in incidents and everything around the city that wasn't favorable, how he get key to the city? So now you got to realize, if they had the mayor under investigation since 2014, Diddy was in investigation around 2011, 9 or 11, something like that. They say either 9 or 11. One of those people are responsible for the feds looking out after one. Or either Diddy responsible, his interaction with the mayor, or the mayor interaction with Diddy may have caused the feds to be looking at both of them in some form or fashion. I don't know which one was first. Was it Diddy interaction with the mayor or the mayor interaction with Diddy? Which one did the Fed have under surveillance first? And I think it was...
A new NBC News documentary has just been released, featuring testimonies from those who were closest to Diddy. His personal assistant, longtime friends, and former employees have all come forward, claiming they witnessed him engage in acts of sexual assault. Philip Pines, who served as Diddy's senior executive assistant from 2019 to 2021, alleges that Diddy forced him to prove his loyalty by coercing him into sexual situations. In one disturbing incident, Diddy allegedly grabbed Pines by the shoulders, gave him a massage, and then pushed him toward a woman on a couch while handing him a condom, pressuring him to sleep with her.
News tonight, for the first time in the history of New York City, a sitting mayor has been indicted for crimes. ABC News reporting that Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We do not know yet the exact charges. Federal authorities have been investigating Adams and members of his staff, issuing subpoenas for documents and cell phones. Several members of administration have resigned, some of them also friends of Mayor Adams. Again, Eric Adams, the 110th mayor of New York, has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We'll have the latest online and tonight on Eyewitness News at 11.
New at 5, the legal troubles continue for Sean Diddy Combs tonight after a judge ordered the music mogul to pay $100 million to a Michigan man who says that he was sexually assaulted by Combs in '97.
According to court documents, Derek Cardello Smith says Combs drugged and then assaulted him during an after party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit. But Combs never responded to the lawsuit in court. On Monday, the judge ordered him to pay $10 million each month starting in October. The victim is currently behind bars serving a 75-year prison sentence for criminal sexual conduct.
After Philip Pines' allegations became public, Diddy responded by announcing a $100 million lawsuit against NBC over its recent documentary. It's clear Diddy doesn't want the world to know what really happened, allegedly trying to silence the victims and those speaking out. Some believe this legal battle is also the reason why 50 Cent's own documentary about Diddy has been delayed. On February 12th, according to documents obtained by E! News, Diddy, currently in jail on sex trafficking and racketeering charges, filed a $100 million lawsuit against NBC Universal. The suit targets the streaming service Peacock, which released the documentary Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy. In the legal filing, Diddy accuses NBC Universal of defamation, claiming the company maliciously and recklessly aired false claims that he committed crimes such as serial murder and sexual assault of minors, all without evidence. The filing argues that the documentary was created solely to feed the public's appetite for scandal, with no concern for the truth or for Diddy's right to a fair trial. But here's the twist. No matter how many lawsuits Diddy files, prosecutors have confirmed that his infamous freak-off tapes will be shown in court. These tapes, which were turned over during discovery, will be played for the jury, and some have already been shown to a grand jury in a separate case. Courtney Burgess, a close friend of Kim Porter, is reportedly the one who handed these tapes to the FBI. And once the trial begins, the public will finally see what's really on them.
At these lavish, drug-fueled nights called Wild King Nights. So this 32-page lawsuit, which was reviewed by multiple outlets, including Rolling Stone, was apparently filed in Los Angeles by a man named Philip Pines, who says he worked for Diddy from 2019 to 2021. So actually more recent than some other suits we've seen against Sean Combs that have been in the early 2000s or even the 90s. But according to reporting in the suit, Pines is alleging a few different things here. Now, before we even get into it, and there is a lot to get into, you might be wondering, what the heck does that name mean? What are we talking about when we said Wild King Nights? Well, part of this lawsuit alleges that Pines had to prove his loyalty to Sean Combs, who was dubbed the King, by performing sex acts for him, hence the name Wild King Nights. The suit even reportedly says that Pines was treated, quote, like an animal playing fetch in order to prove his loyalty.
A former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs speaking out in the new interview with new allegations about wild parties and drug use. Eva Pilgrim is here with the story. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Michael. At this point, we've all probably heard about these infamous parties. Diddy's assistant now giving us details about what he says were called Wild King Nights.
This morning, new details allegedly inside Diddy's world before his shocking arrest. The entertainment mogul now behind bars for federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges.
It was a circus. He did whatever he wanted, and we were just at his disposal.
Phil Pines was Diddy's senior executive assistant from 2019 to 2021. He says his then boss asked him to purchase supplies for parties dubbed Wild King Nights.
We usually had a laundry list of items that included lights, alcohol, marijuana, ketamine, molly. Those requests started to become more frequent.
Pines claims many of these parties involved younger women.
A lot of times you would have him with a younger female, and there's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand.
Ex-girlfriend Desiree Smith recently made a shocking statement during an episode of The Art of Dialogue. In her interview, Desiree dropped some serious allegations involving Diddy. She claimed to personally know victims who were raped by him, and according to her, one of those victims was targeted as revenge for accidentally walking in on Diddy. Desiree alleges that Diddy drugged and assaulted the woman while his security guard stood by and watched.
And the consent.
After Pine's statements came out, Diddy announced he was going to sue NBC for $100 million over the documentary. Diddy doesn't want anyone to find out what he did, and he's trying to silence the victims. Allegedly, this is why it's taking so long for 50 Cent to come out with his documentary.
Sean Diddy Combs sues NBC for $100 million over its Peacock documentary about him. According to docs obtained by E! News February 12th, the Bad Boy Records founder filed a lawsuit against NBC Universal seeking $100 million after Peacock, the streaming service owned by the media company, released the documentary Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy. In the filing, Combs, who is currently in jail on sex trafficking and racketeering charges, accuses NBC Universal of defamation and alleged that the company maliciously and recklessly broadcast the documentary, which included claims that the rapper committed crimes like serial murder and sexual assault of minors without having a shred of evidence. The filing reads, in making and broadcasting these falsehoods, among others, defendants seek only to capitalize on the public's appetite for scandal without any regard for the truth and at the expense of...
Diddy is now claiming that the charges against him are racially motivated, that he was targeted simply because he's black. He insists that those going after him are just jealous of his success and trying to bring a black man down. Recently, Diddy's lawyers filed a motion to have the prostitution charges dropped, citing concerns of racial bias. Clip the prison where Diddy is being held is reportedly terrible, with inmates allegedly being served food infested with maggots. Diddy claims his life is at risk because of being kept at the MDC. Other inmates are targeting him, wanting to take him down due to the serious charges against him. In prison, people accused of crimes like abuse and molestation don't last long, and that's why Diddy is fighting hard to remain in his special housing unit for protection.
The trial starts and the jury sits. Will they be shown these tapes?
100%.
Will they have to watch it in court? Like during the...
100% in court in front of a room of people. And so that's the other thing that's awful. They are going to be watching basically for hours on end in front of people. So in front of victim one, whoever it may be, there's going to be porno played in the federal courtroom.
And victim one would have been made aware of this?
Oh, 100%. She's probably being told right now, like, this is going to be played in open court. Your sex history, your sex life is going to be talked about in open court. All of this.
And presumably then she knows that and she's pushing forward because she hasn't withdrawn.
But don't forget this. It doesn't matter if she does or she doesn't. This isn't a civil case. This is the criminal case. So she could flat out tell the federal government, I don't want to participate. And they can say, we don't care. This is a crime. Crimes are against the United States, not against them. Keep calling her victim one, but don't forget, she's a witness to a crime. So it doesn't matter. She went to them in today and said, I'm not participating. Their response, we don't.
Former MDC inmate Larry Levine says that the moment inmates get a chance, they would stab Diddy. Many of the prisoners serving life sentences at the MDC are violent criminals, and white-collar offenders are housed alongside them. Stabbings are unfortunately common there. In fact, back in 2019, the MDC's management was found guilty of attempting to cover up the death of an inmate.
I know a lot of people that know him. I met one of his old security guards, and I've been to the tea about him. Weird shit, liking strap-ons. I met this girl one time that did a photo shoot for him. It's a nice young lady from Canada. And me and her ended up going on vacation together. And a few months later, and she told me something that she saw go down at his house in the Hamptons. And then a few months later, she told me that she went hanging out with like his bodyguard and his entourage, and somebody drugged her and she doesn't know what happened. So none of this is alarming. And then she went back to Canada. So.
And how long ago was this? Was this in the 90s?
This was in the 2000s. Maybe like around 2004, 2006, somewhere around there. He's been doing.
There you have it. Diddy's legal troubles continue to spiral out of control. With every new leak, his situation only gets worse. From secret hospital visits to courtroom drama, bribery accusations, and troubling testimonies, it's clear this case is far from over. But with powerful connections and an ever-growing list of scandals, the real question remains: how much longer can Diddy evade justice? What do you think? Is Diddy pulling strings behind the scenes, or is he finally running out of options? Let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, stay tuned for more updates, because this story is only getting wilder.
I seen was people fucking each other, kissing each other, getting sucked, pussy getting ate. I seen all that. That's typical though. So I don't understand how freak-offs can be a crime when everybody just gonna be fucking on each other anyway. A bunch of rich people snorting coke and fucking on each other and drunk. If that's a freak-off, then I like to go back to it. I like to go back to a freak-off. I like fucking celebrity business, and that's the fun thing about the freak-offs. In my time when I was there, it was like celebrities was fucking each other. Like all the movie stars and all the actresses was fucking like it was nothing. They was on that powder heavy, but they was fucking. Hey, how you doing? What's down with you? Oh yeah. That's how it was. So I liked the freak-offs. So I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but it was fun to me when I was young and I was there. It was fun to me. I was a kid in the candy store, looking at all these actresses that you grow up watching. You heard me, and these sucking dick and fucking and throwing powder and all types of wild